All right, you officially cannot say that Teslas are expensive anymore. The Tesla Model 3, it's now $33,000 US in Australia, which is an incredible $55,000 in Australian currency. $55,000, and it still qualifies for EV incentives in Queensland, New South Wales, and I believe some other states as well. However, even though this is cheap, this is the old version. There's now a new Tesla Model 3 Plus Highland version. Should you buy one now for $55,000, considering you're going to save a lot of money over the new version? Is it worth it? A lot of people are asking this question. A lot of people are wondering, should they go out and get the cheapest Model 3 ever in the history of Australia, or should they wait until the end of the year, pay more money, $7,000 more money, to get the new version? Is the new version actually worth $7,000 more? Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking, and I have a very definitive opinion on this. So if you don't like hearing opinions on the Tesla Model 3 and whether or not you should buy the old version of the new one, well, this is not the video for you. But if you want to see whether or not it's worth it, well, here are some of the key differences, and then I'm going to tell you what I would personally do. Now, once again, $34,000 US. That's how much it is, guys. So if you're in America, I know you guys can't buy the Model 3 Highland over there. It's not even a question for you. But if you're in Australia, then this is a pretty good deal. $34,000. I mean, if you're in Queensland, for example, you can get an additional $6,000 Australian dollars. So you're looking at $49,000 for a brand new Tesla Model 3 in Queensland. You're looking at $52,000 Australian dollars in New South Wales. So what are the differences? Well, the Project Highland, or 3 Plus, does bring some pretty significant differences. And so far, journalists have said that the Highland, or the Model 3 Plus, is better than the Mercedes EQE, which literally costs double the price. In fact, in Australia, it's more than double the price. It's better than the BMW i4. It's better than, surprisingly, the Hyundai, or the Hyundai, as you guys say in America, Ioniq 6. Now, they're saying it's definitely the best car, and it's cheaper than all those vehicles I just mentioned. However, that's the new version, not the old version. Different story for the old version, right? Tesla claims it's changed more than 50% of the parts of the Model 3. I don't know if that's true, but that's what they say. While these upgrades were based on customer feedback, Tesla is trying to make the Model 3 a bit cheaper and simpler to assemble, because they've been lowering the prices and they're selling Teslas cheaper than they've ever been. And keep in mind, inflation's going up. Prices of Tesla vehicles have been coming down, so the price is actually cheaper than what it appears. At the front, the 2024 Model 3 has a new headlight design. The LED projectors are more crisp, they're narrower. Apparently the lights are a little bit better, and this gives it a more modern appearance. It definitely looks better. The bumper also has been changed to look more minimalist, with no fog lights and only a small air intake at the bottom. These styling changes aren't just for show. The Model 3's aerodynamics, well, they're better than the old version. Even though this has the same motors and battery as before, so the Highland has the same motors and batteries as before, Project Highland, or Model 3 Plus, is between 5 to 8% more efficient. That might be a combination of software and the shape of the car. This means the single motor model can go 346 miles per charge, 39 miles more. And that's the standard range version we're talking about here. The long range does more. It does 423 miles. It's increased by 27 miles. Now, the reality is here, the difference is not much. You're looking at about an increase of range of about 11 kilometers. So you're not getting a lot more range, right? Probably not going to notice the difference. However, 2 new colors have been added to the range. You've got Ultra Red, Stealth Gray. So you're getting some additional color choices. I don't think I'm going to care too much about that. But one thing that is different is new wheel designs. There's also changes beneath the skin, since the new Model 3 features double glazed windows for the rear side windows and the rear back window, which is a massive window because it's also part of the, that sunroof kind of area. So it has better sound insulation and extra structural reinforcements in the doors. Probably a little bit more rigid, and the sound is better. At the rear, the Model 3 Project Highland features a new diffuser design and redesigned headlights, which I think look really good. The new taillights have thin LED signature to them, and they're more completely integrated into the trunk instead of being split between the trunk and the fenders. Inside, the Model 3 takes minimalism to the next level, literally. There's a new dashboard and a new steering wheel that's similar to the steering wheel in the Model S. The steering column has seen changes as well because it now completely deletes the two stalks. Indicator controls have been moved to the left side of the steering wheel, where you select gears via the haptic feed touch buttons, which apparently feel like real buttons that click. And there's a new 15.4-inch screen that is brighter than the previous screen. So the screen is a tiny bit bigger. It has better resolution, better graphics apparently, and you're also getting, well, the removal of two stalks. So for some people that's a good thing, for some it's a bad thing. Very weirdly, right guys, there's been an uproar about Tesla removing the indicator stalk. But it is a bit odd that we didn't see this uproar when Ferrari started doing this 10 years ago. In fact, no one mentioned it. They never have. It's never been an issue for Ferrari owners, so I'm sure that's not going to be a big issue for you once you get your head around and get used to it. It's probably not going to present much of a change, to be honest. Anyhow, if you don't like change, that's one reason not to get the new Model 3 Highland. The other thing is, now when you change gears, you do it via the screen. So you do it on the touch screen, you don't do it via the stalk. So some people might not like that as well. Tesla says they've made a 30% reduction in cabin noise through incremental changes in sound insulation and adding the double glazed windows that I talked about recently. The Model 3 also has new tires specifically designed for it, meaning it has a lower top speed, but it's quieter, more efficient. And the other big change here is the suspension. The suspension is more compliant, but apparently it's much more comfortable for passengers in the rear seats. So if you've got passengers sitting in the rear seat all the time, it's worth considering, is this going to be an issue? So yes, comfort in this new Model 3 Highland is significantly improved. They've completely redesigned and completely changed the suspension. And that is said to be the biggest change to the Model 3 Highland. Now there's a few other upgrades. There's some interior lighting. There's dash strip lighting all around the car, which you can change the colors of. I don't really care about that. It's neither here nor there for me. But you also do get a change across the dashboard. They've removed the wood trim, replaced it with like a suede Alcantara-like finish. That does definitely look better than the previous interior. So in terms of looks, the interior and exterior look better. The car, I believe, is actually a bit lower as well. That's one of the key reasons why I believe the car is more efficient. It's been lowered. Other than that, there's not really any other huge changes. But I do think these changes add up to making this a significantly better car than the previous model. And I'm not alone there. All motoring journalists who have tested it say it's a much better vehicle than the previous model. Is it $7,000 better though? Well, that really depends, because it depends on how much the money means to you. But to be realistic here, guys, I actually don't think it's as big of a difference as we realize, because the resale value will be influenced by this. So when it comes time to sell, I'm pretty confident you're going to get around about that difference in terms of the money back, right? If you went to sell the Model 3 Highland in 2 years, surely you'd get, say, $5,000 to $8,000 more for the sale. I don't know exactly the numbers here, I'm just guessing, but it's definitely going to be worth more than if you went to sell the older version, for sure. So maybe that difference might be less than $7,000, maybe it might be more, I don't know. But either way, at some point, unless you keep the car forever, and most people don't plan on doing that, you will actually get less for the old version of the Model 3 and more for the new version. So is the price really as much of a difference as you think it is? Well, I don't think so. I think most people will consider the new Model 3 Highland to be that much of an upgrade. They'll be willing to pay this much more for a used model in a few years' time. Now, I could be wrong, but that's why I recommend buying the new version. Now, if you need a car today, different story. My answer would be completely different, because you can't get the new Model 3 Highland today unless you're in Europe, where deliveries are imminent. And in fact, new models, apparently new vehicles, have a wait of only about 6 to 8 weeks. Same goes for China. You're in China, you can pretty much get this instantly. But in other countries, such as Australia, well, you're going to have to wait right now until, I'd say, February, considering maybe even later than that actually, considering you'd be pretty late to the party. A lot of people have already pre-ordered the Model 3 Highland. So that's my recommendation. Is the new model worth paying $7,000 more? Well, it really depends on whether or not you need it today, or you can wait until early next year. But guys, everyone's opinions on this are going to be totally different. I'm intrigued. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. Bye-bye.